언제 어디서나 깔끔하고 상쾌하게
이런 게 트래비 스타일.
Stylish Sparkling Water 트래비.
Game, record, and stream without compromise.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Apex Season 4. We are right at the very end of the round of 8. Only one more best of 5 to play to find out who our final member is through to the finals. I'm, of course, Atlas. This is Wolf, and who's going to take it? Is it going to be once again GC Busan? They did 3-0 last time.
It was a different roster, though, that they were playing against than the one we'll see today. I won't spoil exactly what roster we are going to have today, but GC Busan had such a fantastic performance against Lunatic-Hai. They ended up going to the 5th and final game against Runaway, ended up falling there down to this final match, right? And I feel like the play we've seen from GC Busan has been impressive, but is it to the level of what could be the best roster of Lunatic-Hai, the elite roster we may reveal later on? That's the big question, and I don't think they've convinced me enough. I still think Lunatic-Hai will take this if they bring the proper roster in order to do the job. Yeah, and if you look back, I mean, back-to-back champions as well, Season 2 and Season 3 for Lunatic-Hai, so it's not exactly like the cards are stacked in GC Busan's favor. However, like you said, you know, changing up the roster, we're not necessarily sure exactly what GC Busan are going to be able to show against the new and improved, potentially, Lunatic-Hai, and there are some star players on the side of GC Busan as well that could definitely come out and show us that if you don't have a solid roster, then things can go awry. Yeah, we all showing some great Zarya, his diva also very great, and Prophet. Prophet is he was who I was talking about because his tracer has looked so good. Prophet's tracer just cannot be ignored, right? And you know, we'll reveal later who the roster is going to be, but he was one of the reasons why they had so many problems in their previous set because Taejun just could not keep up. And they only switched him out for Eska at the very end. It was too late there on Volsky. Wasn't able to make as much of a difference. The momentum was definitely away from Lunatic-Hai. Different series tonight, though. Lunatic-Hai, I think, is going to take this very, very seriously. Again, they nearly faced elimination in the losers match. They fought their way back up to this final match, this final best of 5, and everything's on the line here. Yeah, absolutely everything. And look, if we're going to go into like compositions and things like that as well, Lunatic-Hai, especially when it comes to clutch moments, which they certainly often find themselves in, Lunatic-Hai are one of those teams that is able to bring out the new picks, is able to bring out the new comps, surprise their opponents, and pull it through right at the end. And as you can see, it all comes down to this. In Group A, we have already got Cloud9 Kongdu making it through along with NC Foxes. Yeah. And then on the other side, it's Runaway that has made it through already, and we're about to find out who it's going to be out of GC Busan and, of course, Lunatic-Hai. That's right. So the Foxes making it through, a bit of surprise for everybody. LW Red shut down in their potential road to be Royal Roaders. There are still 2 teams left, the Foxes and GC Busan, who could make it happen. Only 2 teams left in this tournament that are playing their first Apex season. As mentioned, Lunatic-Hai had to battle through the losers match against X6, where X6 gave them a little bit of grief. It wasn't the easiest 3-1 for Lunatic-Hai, and GC Busan did take that 3-0 over Lunatic-Hai when they met the first time in the beginning match, but they're still here because they lost to Runaway in that winners match. So now that we go to this final match, I mean, it's tough to say who's really the favorites here. You really just have to look at which Lunatic-Hai we're seeing tonight because the weaknesses have definitely been in Taejun and Eska. We're both sitting at the bottom of the KD score in terms of DPS. Yeah, and if you have a look, you know, otherwise, as far as DPS for Lunatic-Hai, you've got a 2.0 coming out from Who Are You, who's looked brilliant since his return to the roster here as well. So certainly things that can be mixed up. But if you look over the other side, I mean, we've already given all of the accolades to Prophet and Hureg, 2 of the members of this team that have been incredibly good. They've been the flexible ones as well. The crazy thing about GC Busan, all of their most successful compositions have Zen, Lucio, D.Va, Winston. There is absolutely no mixing it up when it comes to frontline or support for this roster, and it's been all about, you know, switching over to these Doomfist compositions. They've run Tracerless comps as well with Doomfist Soldier, things like that, that have been very successful here for GC Busan. They have also run a little bit of triple DPS with the, Doomfist coming in like we saw from the Foxes, actually, with the Winstonless composition, running Doomfist instead of Winston. They have experimented with that as well, so that's something we could see tonight from GC Busan. I expect them to play a little bit more standard. Here we have an event at our studio. You can, 6 of you lucky members could win something. It looks like some sort of ticket that you can use for multiple times coming to the studio. So, which is going to be difficult for those of you who do not live in Seoul. However, you know, might be worth entering just so that you could perhaps make a journey over. Who knows? Yeah. So obviously, we do have this every Tuesday and Friday, generally speaking. Obviously, we're getting towards the end, so having it less often. But
Yeah.
if you are in Seoul, you can come down to the studio. You want to get your tickets early, though, because if you're not here, so you're not going to win this event. You need to track those tickets, buy them instantly. People ask us all the time, I didn't get tickets. How do you get tickets? Very easy. You just go to the Ticketmaster that OGN has, but you need to be there when the tickets go live for you, and you've got to get them in like 5 minutes. So
Oh yes,
good luck.
especially if Lunatic-Hai is playing. Otherwise, you might have a little bit more leeway. Maybe, you know, a day or two could go by before all of those tickets have been taken away. And look, here's someone that has managed to get a ticket, and there still feels bad, man. That's no good.
Yeah. This is Gregory's tears. So, very exciting matchup tonight, and
it's a packed studio as well. I mean,
Yeah.
like you said, tickets difficult to get, and tonight is certainly one of those nights where it's basically impossible because everyone has turned up to see whether Lunatic-Hai is going to make it back through once again for potentially what could be another runaway Lunatic-Hai final here for Season 4.
It certainly could be. We could also have, I mean, this is just such a crazy season in terms of what happened. It was like the Lunatic-Hai story of their failures in the second group stage, then making it through the final match, then going to that semis, going to the finals. It happened to them twice already, and this is the third time. If they win tonight, they will go through that loser bracket run to make semis and potentially go to that final. So, very exciting situation here. We have some incredible drawings tonight as well.
Yeah. Absolutely amazing. And of course, coming from the Lunatic-Hai fans who have been so incredibly passionate.
So it
Ask
is,
a picture down the bottom there.
yeah, just a good time to be an Overwatch fan, no matter where you're from.
Yeah, see? Maybe they won the competition, Wolf.
Yeah, maybe they won. Maybe they've got tickets for like 4 times in a row. Maybe they got tickets all the way to the finals. Season
Yeah.
5, who knows? Promotions? I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
But yeah, going to be an exciting match tonight. I think it will be very close. I don't think it's going to be a 3-0 one way or the other. Both these teams are experienced enough now. I would say Lunatic-Hai obviously much more experienced, but I think GC Busan's experienced enough, played so many challengers matches,
Yeah.
came back from so many deficits, has already beaten this team 3-0 once. I think in terms of confidence and morale, there's not going to be a swing at some point. If one team goes up 2-0, I think do not, you know,
Do not count anyone
Do not
out.
count the losing team out tonight, because these teams they have so much experience against each other.
Yeah, they most certainly do. And of course, if you have a look at the maps as well at GC Busan, it's almost sure that they're going to be able to take one. But speaking of the teams, let's meet them now.
힌트가 주고받죠.
그렇죠.
아우, 자,
대나무 이런 거.
자, 패스.
와! 이러면 이것도 높이고 시작. 4강 진출.
질 줄 몰랐던 팀한테 지게 되니까 좀 굉장히 분하네요. 일단은 저희가 루나틱을 3대0으로 이겼잖아요. 그 러너웨이 팀은 루나틱한테 3대0으로 진 팀이고요. 상성상 저희가 무조건 이길 거라고 생각했는데 뭔가 변수 때문에 팀원이 말렸던 것 같아요.
또 여기서 탄력 받기 시작하나요, 이 팀은?
이길 수 있지 이렇게 말은 했지만 진짜 이거 지면은 끝인데 그런 생각도 들고 솔직히 속으로는 좀 부담이 엄청 컸거든요. 근데 다들 좀 잘 극복한 것 같아요. 저희가 이번 시즌에 이제 기도 후루 조합을 처음으로 기용하게 되었는데 급식 듀오다 이렇게 해가지고 서로 잘 맞더라고요. 이게 나이 어린 게 최고네요. 정말 부러워요.
최종전을 진짜 힘들다고 생각을 했는데 완전 공짜네요. 얼마나 그렇게 분했으면은 이렇게 이를 빠득빠득 깔면서 쫓아와요. 우리가 요리 다 했는데.
악수하러 왔을 때 그냥 좀 그 자리를 솔직하게 피하고 싶었어요. 그냥 누가 하나 뭐 나무랄 거 없이 다 못해서 그때는 그냥 저희한테 보냈어요. 좀 맞아야 정신 차리는 것 같아요. 이제 저희도 때려야죠.
짜릿해요. 2연속 디펜딩 챔피언한테 원한을 사게 됐다 생각하니까 설레네요. 루나틱은 저희한테 약간 훈장 같은 느낌?
그거 대여 기간 끝나는데 반납해. 어떻게 보면은 저번 시즌, 저번 시즌이랑 똑같은 뭔가 상황이잖아요. 뭐 이번 시즌 뭐 질 거 다 졌으니까 우승할 수 있을 것 같은데.
경험이라는 거는 무시할 수 없기 때문에 팀원들이 절대 분위기에 휩쓸리지 않도록 큰 힘을 낼 겁니다. 진짜 마지막인 만큼 후회 없도록 진짜 열심히 하려고요. 이번에는 1점 정도는 드릴게요. 루나틱하이는 딜러가 4명이나 되는데 왜 바쁘가파하는 딜러가 없지?
왜 GC는 디바가 둘인데 OR이 나오지? 다들 이제 OR 선수하고 저하고 닮았다고 하는데 뭐 얼굴 닮았다고 실력까지 닮은 거 아니잖아요. 혹시 본인이 소문 내세요?
Overwatch Apex Season 4, energized by Hot 6, quarterfinal. Today's matchup, GC Busan, Lunatic-Hai.
Wow, Jaehong looking pretty fired up there in that hands in. And on the other side, GC Busan wanted to do theirs twice, which was definitely an exciting thing as well. After all of that smack that was thrown around as well in those interviews.
He's changing up the fighting meta as well. He didn't count down, he just yelled it and everybody was in sync. As Lunatic-Hai has always been, no matter the roster, their coordination is what most respect more than just raw mechanics, and they've experimented with many different rosters throughout this season, and the coordination that they need to win this series tonight, I think, will be there. The question is, who will be in the booth? Because in terms of, again, those KDs, the really weak ones on the side of Eska and Taejun, they're at the bottom for DPS, at the bottom in general for KDs this season. Might be time to move away from that playstyle, move away from that roster at the moment.
Yeah, and we did actually hear in that interview as well that trying out the Lunch Boy combo of the two young players in Huyu and Guido, and we'll see whether that is going to be what they're going to be running here today as well, because that hint certainly already being thrown out, Wolf, but we do have some highlights. Let's have a look at GC Busan as they get ready in the booth.
GC Busan.
뒤에 돌아왔어요. 부착 반대쪽 바닥에. 근데 오히려 다니엘이 메카가 터져서 레전드를 또 맞춰놨기 때문에 체력이 없는 거를 정리를 해줬고 부착.
Profit.
근데 이거 우리 얻어가지고 큰일 납니다. 그러면 빨리 도망가고. 어그로 완벽하죠.
시작부터 끝까지
난리 났어요.
꿈에 나올 정도. 꿈에 나올 정도 무서워요.
오늘 프렉. 이거죠 이거. 있으면 클로저가 채우고 덮어야죠.
Correct.
있거든요. 아니면 무섭죠. 겨울이 재워놨고 끌리면 오히려 주심사이 위험해집니다. 잘 재웠죠.
Hagopen.
어쨌든 지시부산도 버텨주고 있었던 상황.
못 도망갔고요. 이거 1분밖에.
Audio.
뒤로 빠지면서 대지부사로 다 킬을 하는 것도 중요한데 기다려.
이게 뭐죠?
Closure.
계속해서 끊기고 있고.
안 써도 되는 상황. 오히려 미로 사이 못 잡고 있고. 여기서 너무 좋은데요.
위치.
Gesture.
자, 연금 터졌고 중앙으로 들어갔죠. 모았어요. 뚫었어요. 지금 나왔어요. 있습니다. 1분 40초예요. 떨어지는 거 조심해야 되고 떨어지는 거 낙사.
Uhyal. GC Busan.
And as GC Busan get ready in the booth for game number one, it's all about the potential rivalry. We heard them talking about the fact that Lunatic-Hai are looking at them with respect now after that 3-0. Jaehong certainly sounding salty about that one, and we are pretty excited to be given that amount of respect.
Hureg has played some incredible Doomfist this season. Felt like he Doomfisted his way into Apex Season 4. He's shown...
that sounded like a verb. That's not right, Wolf. We may have strayed off the path there.
Sure. So this is our roster for today. Obviously, Ariel has been taking a back seat for the majority of the matches since the first group stage. And so this is going to be the roster you've seen most of the season. Well, really impressing, especially in the round of 8 and in their match against Lunatic-Hai last time. Prophet has shown that his Tracer is incredible. It almost looks procedural, the way you watch him drop pulse bombs that kill in the highlight reel on the Winston on Hanamura. It was like he just casually placed the pulse bomb as he was thinking about something else. He's just so good at getting those backline picks, bursting down tanks, building those pulse bombs. A terrifying lineup in terms of DPS to deal with.
Yeah, most certainly is. And we did hear Jaehong talking about the double diva situation, but Ariel really has not played that much this season. So we are going to be looking at this as a solid roster. Speaking of solid rosters, let's head over and look at Lunatic-Hai.
근데 이걸 또 재우네요.
류재홍. 토비.
이태준도 한번 해서 공격하죠. 기가 막혀.
이태준.
구성이다 보니까 근데 메타트는 이렇게 다 잘려 있어요.
하나는 있습니다만 최대 버틸 만큼 버텨줘야 되고요.
맥크리 바꿨고요.
어딜 또 올라와? 계속 밀어버리고.
굉장히 오랫동안 지금 민호 선수가
아직 몰라요.
네. 자, 근데 계속 밀어.
미로.
이게 맞지 않아요.
또!
틀리지 않았고.
이제 나오잖아요. 실은 다 죽였어요.
이거 일단 하나 사냥 2대까지. 이것이 호아유다. 네. 호아유 선수가.
Who are you?
공 써도 되죠? 위치 보다가 많이 못 쳤어. 공 쓰고 벽 쪽에다가
내가 다 처리한다.
정력작한 쓰는 센스는 진짜 세계 최고다.
그렇습니다. 근데 누구냐? 모았어요. 자, 모았어.
절망이죠.
절망.
순바.
자,
메카 파괴.
자, 근데 바로 부활 하나.
부활했지만 체력이 그런타이가 좀 됐죠.
네, 자,
이거 부활 모습가 잘 잘랐죠.
네, 부활까지 써주면서 자, 하나 끊어주는데요. 자, 시간 없습니다. 시간 돼요. 오, 에스카 선수.
에스카. 기도. Lunatic-Hai.
Watching those highlights always just reminds me how incredibly good Zumba is at Zarya. My God, he's amazing. And also makes me feel sorry for Guido, who definitely deserves a highlight reel of his own. Eska gets one. Why the heck doesn't Guido?
Yeah, it's tough, man. But we started the GC Busan highlight reel with the DPS players, Prophet and Hureg. This highlight reel started with the supports. Of course, Jaehong and Toby, the two, many herald the best supports in the world. The sound barriers, Toby's control versus Genji, for example, shown in that highlight clip against Hoxall. Jaehong's sleep darts that won them that Season 2 Grand Finals and helped them win the Season 3. They're both in the lineup today. The players that will not be in the lineup will be Eska and Taejun. The DPS players that look weakest out of all in the round of 8. And they were benched last time when they found great success against X6. It will be the same tonight. So this is an elite Lunatic-Hai roster. It's not just Lunatic-Hai, but it is their lunch boy duo. It is the best players for the job.
And that's why I segued into this with a solid roster type segue. Even though that does sound confusing when you're talking about Lunatic-Hai for Season 4, it certainly feels like they're coming into their own now after playing same roster 2 matches in a row. See whether it is going to be enough to pull them through against GC Busan, who were dominant last time. We are going to be heading to Lijiang Tower to start things off. Certainly some opportunities for GC Busan to show something else here, because Faro play hasn't necessarily been in the playbook of Lunatic-Hai. It is certainly something that they can do. Hureg, a fantastic Faro player in his own right.
Absolutely, and Lunatic-Hai has struggled on control. It's their worst map type this in the last 6 months of play. So map type, you look at Lunatic-Hai with a 1-3 3-1 victory. You often, when you check the map list, will see they lost control. It's the map that they drop when they don't hit those 3 zeros that they've been looking for, especially in group stages where points matter a lot. So this is a good way for Busan to try something a little bit different, run the Pharah, and get into Lunatic-Hai's head a little bit on their weakest map type, get into that advantage here after the first map.
Yeah, I'm also really excited to see how this one's going to go as well, because both of these teams very good at escort. So it's likely if we're going to get to that game 4, it could all ride on that. But guys, let's not waste any more time. Let's get into game number 1.
I get it.
I know Lunatic-Hai has definitely got a way bigger cheer, but the GC Busan fans are out in force tonight.
Oh, they certainly are. And look at this already. This is what we expected to see. This is very exciting. The Mercy Pharah coming out here versus who are used Genji. So now this matchup we were hoping to see. Remember, this is not on the live patch, ladies and gentlemen. This is not on the new Mercy res on 20-second cooldown patch.
And as commentators, we're pretty happy about that.
I'm pretty happy about it, yes.
I don't want to see like Winston's just popping up all over the place like daisies, Wolf. That is not what we want.
If you enjoy that, you should go watch Apex Challengers, because that's what we see. So, with no long-range hit scan on the side of Lunatic-Hai, it's already blindly a stronger composition for Busan. We'll see if Lunatic-Hai could deal with it regardless, but as you can see, Hureg not even really needing much healing at the moment.
Well, we know that Huoyu has been known to pull pharmacy compositions out of the sky as well, but at the moment Hureg has been completely unharangued.
Oh, definitely. But won't matter if they lose the ground battle. Someone's going to have to get onto that point. Jaehong very low here.
Yeah.
Great positioning, though, around that pillar.
Gonna get himself out of the way, however, incredibly low. Yido actually looking for something. Does find Gesture to get the first pick of the game. This could give them even more control now on this point.
So, regardless of the Pharah damage, Lunatic-Hai got into good position. The Pharah wasn't able to get any kills, only ult percentage realistically at 97% currently. He's very close. They have a res available as well. Well, that boosted damage coming out. But again, Lunatic-Hai controls the ground, and they can just stay in these points where the Pharah can't hit them from the sky. Inside this building where most of their members are right now, the Pharah can't do
Rocket
much.
Barrage actually already coming out, but isn't actually going to find any joy. Gesture, the only one that's going to be res. It's almost like we have the new patch coming in here as Huggedkin only getting one for the res, but Lunatic-Hai don't even care. They're going to get all of the kills that they want. They'll save the Pharah till last, and look, it doesn't even matter if he survives if the rest of his team's dead.
Good positioning by Lunatic-Hai, staying in that building, willing to give up control of the point in terms of where their members were to avoid the barrage, to avoid all that damage coming out from Hureg. Then once he was forced to go in as like a land fire, he was walking on the ground, that's when they turned the fight. Sure, he was the last to die, but the fact that he had to be rezzed early, or they had to use the res early, meant that it was already a one fight for Lunatic-Hai.
Well, Prophet with a bit of a drive-by, but doesn't actually find the kill with that pulse bomb. Hureg's going to be able to take down Toby, though, and this could be the start of something for GC Busan.
Certainly could be. There's a pick, though, onto closer.
Yeah, Jester actually popping off, and you can see Huoyu outside of this fight now completely. Miro doing his best just to stay on this point and try and stop it from being ticked over, and they've already made it up to 81%. Huoyu with a Dragon Blade here as well. This could actually really help as far as solidifying this control and zoning self-destruct just to make sure that they have even more of that control.
He doesn't have a sound barrier with this. He's going for the Mercy. Sound barrier keeps Mercy alive and gets the res.
Finally, Huoyu able to pick that one up. And he's known to do it, pick people out of the sky with this Genji. But it's only going to be the one kill. Guido going to follow up now, and they're going to see what they can do to try and close this one out with a 99-0.
Oh, Huoyu's getting picks on the backline as well. Gets Hureg again. Gesture's going down. It looks like this is just going to be Lunatic-Hai's map. Prophet will buy some time, but that is not going to be enough.
Yeah, this is a statement from Lunatic-Hai as well. GC Busan finding no foothold to get back in. This is the question that we had. You know, the Pharah advantage that theoretically GC Busan have actually looked like a Pharah deficit on that map.
They simply just could not get picks with it. The positioning from Lunatic-Hai was incredible.
God, Mira's fired up.
It looks like they've practiced against this type of composition a lot, understanding where to be when the fight is going to them. They grabbed the point early, then they went into that house where the Pharah couldn't actually do damage from air, had to go inside, which is never a good thing. When all the resources are spent to protect the Pharah in those moments, that's when Guido and Who Are You can get those backline picks. We saw 2 times where Jaehong was able to narrowly avoid death as well on the Zen. So we're going to watch this exchange. Look at the sound barrier timing, perfect. So kept him alive for long enough, but Who Are You is just so good.
Yeah, and then Guido following up as well. I mean, the Lunch Boy duo, Jaehong was talking about it in the interview to start things off, and seems to be working out for them very, very well. Something that we have had questions for Lunatic-Hai on before.
Taking a look at those KDAs for just a moment. Very impressive for Who Are You.
Yep, slight switch up here for GC Busan running the McCree now. Has been something that they've done in the past, but not necessarily their most common composition, as that flick onto Toby was so sick. He's going to be able to pick up the kill there, but it is still GC Busan with the advantage.
A lot of players moving away from the Doomfist. Hureg's most iconic hero is the Doomfist, but with the new patch, with the changes to his hitbox and stuff like that, those kind of phantom changes weren't in the patch notes, but it's kind of really showing that no teams really want to run the Doomfist right now, and Hureg is killing it on this McCree. See if he can continue to do so.
Really has helped Who Are You reach back for relevance as well, which is incredible. Genji at the same time. Guido not going to find any joy with the Pulse Bomb that was sort of just thrown out a little bit willy-nilly, and Prophet going to be able to take down Who Are You. Cast a Curse taking him down as well, unfortunately. Give them the praise and they're going to fall, and now without a Diva, this is going to be a huge problem for
They got Miro
Lunatic-Hai.
too. That's a longer respawn now. They need to have all these synced up. It's not like other games with respawns. You don't want to survive as long as possible, then die. You want to definitely die with your team, or at least escape there, so you don't have that extended death timer. So in this case now, not only does GC Busan delay that time so they build up more, but they have an ult advantage. Hureg's had this Deadeye for so long.
Yeah, Prophet actually dancing his way forward. Lunatic-Hai having to use the Transcendence just to keep themselves alive. They're trying to get onto this point though. No flip to come through just yet, and there is the counter. Lunatic-Hai do have the sound barrier to try and keep themselves alive, but closer. He's holding onto it as well, and Hureg, he's the one that's able to grab the Deadeye kill. Guido does challenge him with it, but GC Busan just have the cooldowns.
A little bit surprising Closer actually used that sound barrier there after the fight was almost clearly lost. Once the kill on Hureg came in, it was going to be very difficult. Who Are You does chase them all back to the spawn point, but that's a tool they're not going to have for the next contest. So very expensive what GC Busan tried to do here.
Yep, trading self-destructs here as well, as Miro is going to be able to take down Closer off the back end. It looks like the flip should be coming in at around 93% if they can get GC Busan off this point, which they do.
So sound barrier missing is unfortunate, but they did get it to 93. They'll have a lot of time to build a new one. He's already at 22, of course. I think this just needs to be a reset here for GC Busan. They're trickling a little bit.
Yeah, the staggered kill's actually working out for Lunatic-Hai this time, but still a long ways to go, and GC Busan looking at about 1 team wipe, and they will be able to turn that one over.
They have Dragon Blade with support ultimates, which is always how you want to get the most value out of it. They're going to use it looks like, here as well.
Yeah, just making sure they get Gesture out of the way. Not a massive percentage just yet, but Lunatic-Hai, another convincing fight win.
Well, it was this map where Gesture made himself famous for the eco leaps, and you could certainly argue that was one, but it really did bait out an ultimate, so kind of a winning exchange for Busan in that way. As Toby did use the sound barrier early. Prophet so low.
Yeah, Guido just hunts him down. All too easy, and we are getting to the 50% mark as well. Looking for a 2-0 on control here for Lunatic-Hai, which, as you mentioned, not necessarily their favorite map type so far. And after what was an incredible map 1, if they were to take this down as well, it certainly could mean bad things for the mentality of GC Busan. They're going to come back in. Transcendence already invested into this fight. It's Who Are You with the Dragon Blade just dashing around trying to get some kills, but it's Prophet that grabs it, and the Deadeye comes in to get rid of the Genji. This could be the switch over, exactly right. Hureg able to free fire in the back line.
And Jaehong now has to use a Transcendence to buy time, not to help his team win a fight. When the fight happens, when everyone respawns, he's not going to be there with that heal for them.
Yeah, they have made it to 80%, but it's not going to be enough. Self-destruct finds no joy either, but Prophet has been picked off. Miro jumps jumping through now as well as Who Are You is able to pick up another one a bit late on the sound barrier as Gesture had already fallen down, which could be a disaster now for GC Busan.
Lunatic-Hai basically just won a 4v6 fight. Will they be able to continue to do so, though? I don't think so.
Yeah, Who Are You actually just dashing back in and dying, and you can see Hureg, he's going to be traded as the Pulse Bomb was used against him, but Zumba also going to fall. Prophet making sure that he gets rid of that front line, and GC Busan now free to roll over the top if they want to, and Prophet yet again demonstrating how good he is on this Tracer.
Yeah, just having those ults used like that, Lunatic-Hai was so desperate with how they had to fight. The Transcendence for Hagapun was much better. Obviously, it countered the Dragon Blade.
Oh, wow. Hureg actually coming back on the Soldier. Just melts Miro. They're trying to keep this overtime ticking up for Lunatic-Hai.
Great Transcendence.
There's Transcendence. Yeah, that's going to come in. Huyal's going to be able to get rid of Guido. They have no backline. They have no front line. And GC Busan just getting the picks. But these are the moments that Lunatic-Hai have been able to find success on. It's just not looking like it this time around. Seems like we are going to have a decider, Wolf, on this control to start things off, and that's what we wanted out of this series.
Two great Transcendences from Hagapun. One against Who Are You's Dragon Blade that negated most of the damage and allowed that Deadeye to get the kill onto Who Are You was the first one. The second one there kept Gesture alive. Closer's sound barrier that he missed when Gesture died there, who was at 99%, he was so close, just couldn't get it in time. When we had to see Jaehong's Transcendence used like that in order to buy time, because if he didn't use it, they would have simply lost the point then.
Yeah.
He wasn't going to have that for the next battles, and by the time that he nearly did, Hagapun had another Transcendence, and he used it perfectly there to keep Gesture alive to flip that point. Lunatic-Hai, very impressive though. I mean, they were essentially winning a 4v6 fight for quite some time there before the respawns came through.
Well, you can see GC Busan actually now committing to this Soldier Tracer composition that has been very successful for them in the past. So we move on to the deciding match.
Yeah, surprising they're not using the Bara here, but it looks like that what Lunatic-Hai dealt with it last time. They're not willing to. We're going to see a leap come through here from Miro.
Yeah, they're going to start this one off very, very quickly, but Gesture, no eco leaps this time. He's actually going to start it off with a victory as far as the fight is concerned for GC Busan. And this might be the first time, well, actually second time, because they were able to grab it first last time as well. So start ticking things up here for GC Busan. They'll do so pretty easily as Guido going to have to snap back after getting on the point.
Okay, Winston again leaping in first is Miro. Drops the bubble, but he's all alone. Good protection coming out from Zumba, though. He actually will get out alive.
Yeah, has to be really careful of that Discord orb that was really allowing them to rip through him. Guido's going to be able to get rid of the mech, though, and this could be huge as Lunatic-Hai get a fight back in their favor. Who Are You just dashing around, able to snipe Gesture there as well with a quick snapback.
It's actually been, noted by Minute Alice, one of the weak points of Lunatic-Hai is that Miro's leaps are so telegraphed and their attacks are so systematic that a lot of teams will just focus Miro in these fights. But while they were focusing Miro, who lived, by the way, that was when Guido was getting those backline picks off screen, knocking Wuha out of his mech, for example. I mean, meant Hureg didn't have protection. We're going to see a backline attempt here. Eaton.
Yeah. Just says, thank you very much. I was hungry anyway. Outside of Huyal. Okay, Hagapun is going to be able to take down Who Are You, though, to start this fight off. That actually could be massive as we're getting all of the ultimates out. Transcendence in trade for that sound barrier. Now Hagapun's going to offer his as well. Multiple support ultimates invested here for GC Busan to try and get this flip on the point, but it's a messy fight at best.
Okay, looks like this is just not going to go Lunatic-Hai's way. They're just trying to tick up as much as they can before they end up flipping this. Or you get some pick, but wants to get out of here before you desyncs his death timer.
Yeah, Prophet actually able to take down the mech and the Diva as well as Hureg's going to be able to get rid of Guido.
Lunatic-Hai is using a lot to buy time.
Dragon Blade actually invested. Hureg's going to be taken down, but is that actually worth it? I'm not entirely sure, Lunatic-Hai.
I don't think so. They only got up to 59% there, and everything was used how they threw the kitchen sink at that fight, and it was always fought 3v6, 2v6 at times there. The sound barrier was perfectly timed after the Transcendence, but Dragon Blade was not with it, and Guido tried to get that pulse bomb pick. It got eaten again the second time in a row. Very frustrating. The play here from Wugal has been incredible in protecting the backline against these dives.
Oh, Prophet now just with the safety available.
Double.
Oh my god, how did that even work? That wasn't even a stick as Hureg is going to be able to take down Toby. Massive wipe here for GC Busan as it's only Guido limping away. And correct me, he's going to be taken as well by Prophet. The team kill for GC Busan.
We saw this guy kill it in the highlight reel on this very map. We saw him kill it on Hanamura. And what's really cool when you watch Prophet, he tracks so smooth. Like, next time we see our first-person view of him, watch how he tracks. It's so smooth, it's not jerky. It's like he understands all the movement speeds of every hero he's firing
It's like
at.
the opposite of an aimbot.
Yeah, it's so smooth. It's crazy. All right, we're going to see this self-destruct just try to buy more time here for GC Busan.
Yep, not actually going to be able to find any kills or anything like that, as Guido does get a stick. This Jester's going to be completely weak. No, actually not going to find it. He's going to be able to take down Who Are You as well. Guido's still fighting around this one, though, as Pilot Diva is going to be eliminated.
Committing to this Soldier ultimate here means they really need to win this fight. It's just not going to happen, though, so a lot of resources spent for Busan now. Lunatic-Hai in fantastic position. They had to use their support ultimates here, but they got a lot out of this, so Busan's not going to be able to easily flip this. And we're not looking at a 99-0 timer here for Busan to build those ultimates, so Urek using that visor is probably something he's now going to regret as they try to look for the next potential clutch.
Yeah, Zumba really in hero mode, just soloing down the Soldier, unable to get anything done whatsoever. But GC Busan going for the wraparound here, and we'll see whether they can get back to this point, because once again, it's at that position where whoever wins the next fight is most likely going to be able to take this point and control to start off with a 1-0 scoreline. Exactly what you'd want, and Gesture going to start it off just right here for GC Busan.
And Who Are You is just holding on to this Dragon Blade and waiting for the perfect moment. He doesn't have any support ultimates to work with. Waits for the sound barrier a little bit here. Gets a pick on the
Oh my
Hurag.
goodness, yeah, but the rest of the kills are coming in for GC Busan, and Gesture going to be able to get rid of that Genji. Missed time there from Lunatic-Hai, not necessarily understanding when to go in, as this tick-up is going to be very fast.
And
overtime on both sides, but where are the Lunatic-Hai members?
They're
It's going to
not
be GC Busan that start off with a 1-0.
They didn't even have to use all their ultimates. They're holding on to Transcendence there at the end. Hurag was halfway to another tack visor. That was all Prophet. And when Miro and Who Are You are not able to kill him in these moments, he's doing so much for the team. Who Are You was his decision to hold the Dragon Blade, wait for that sound barrier to wear off a little bit, look for the perfect angle. Was it incorrect? I don't think so. But Prophet just popped off.
Yeah, Wuyal is... This dude's excited, man. We heard him with all of the smack talk that he was throwing out, all of the salt memes and everything like that, and he's having a great time in the booth.
He defense matrix 2 pulse bombs from Guido in that game, at least that we saw.
Yeah.
There might have been more. Protected Gesture several times in the longer fights, and his diva is a thing of beauty. It really is. Very incredible. Sure, he's not as famous as the other divas, but we're having attack pause here, as is the way of Lunatic-Hai. You drop a map, which is normally control, right? We've seen this story 1,000 times. Lunatic-Hai loses control. Always comes into the booth, and usually when we go back to the second game, it feels like all that's changed is coordination. I can't point any fingers at anyone on Lunatic-Hai for mistakes made really in that last control map.
I think
was
it's
a
more
close
just
one.
coordination and cohesion, especially for that final map as well. So maybe just saying that you got to listen to each other. Communication could certainly be a factor here in the booth.
Support ultimates are being used really liberally by Jaehong and Toby, you know? They're dropping the sound barriers early, the transcendences early. And that means that Who Are You has had very few, maybe even only like one Dragon Blade that's been supported by those support ultimates. Or when you're running a Genji comp, especially if you have a good enough player to do it without support ultimates like Who Are You, players like Haksal, right? Famous Genjis out there, Shadowburn. When you have a player of that caliber, you don't always necessarily need to wait for those support ultimates to use the Dragon Blade. But going up against a team that's so good at killing Who Are You, has several times, I mean, it's just disastrous when you go into a fight like this without those support ultimates. Prophet fell off that one
I like
time.
how it's a highlight of Prophet just killing himself.
Yeah, I was wondering how that happened. I guess it was just an accident. But yeah, I mean, Who Are You is an incredible Genji. Hasn't really been fighting with the support ultimates. This is another situation. Look at the sports, 15, 65 on percentage. He's just doing it without it, which is all good and dandy and all, but I feel like sometimes could be working together with the sports, maybe on control especially. Maybe Lunatic-Hai should be willing to hold on to the support ultimates, give a flip, then get a retake using those ultimates together in conjunction and not separately.
Yeah. Hurag making use of the quicker charge out time on that Deadeye. Really smooth stuff. But still, like you said, I mean, it's only the first map, and this is Lunatic-Hai. They are the kings of the reverse sweep to get themselves places.
If you're a Lunatic-Hai fan, this is not a moment to panic. In fact, they've got Always Uv in the booth. He's going to be telling his players what he thinks is the best move. We're not going to have any subs here, I don't think either. Just simply going to be discussing map picks. For Lunatic-Hai, they have picked this season so far 2 escort maps. King's Row was picked by them both times, so you have to think that third time will be the charm here. King's Row will be picked again. That was the wrong phrase for this, but yeah.
But, I mean, last time GC Busan were able to take them down on King's Row as well. It was very impressive from both teams on the attack especially. We were thinking that with Lunatic-Hai's attack run moving into King's Row, it was going to be almost a sure win, but then GC Busan somehow just managed to come back in these situations.
Yeah, and in this tactical pause, I'm watching Uliel just went for a restroom break. Someone else is getting their computer fixed. Maybe they didn't even have optimal settings when they won that last map.
Oh, man.
But, again, now is not the time to panic. We lose Escort in dominant fashion. That is the time to panic as a Lunatic-Hai fan.
Or Hybrid especially, because it means we had to have got to Escort.
That's right. Sorry, I mean Hybrid. It's half Escort, all right?
Hey, that's true. That's true.
That's why it's Hybrid.
I'm just busting chops.
Oh, yeah, I love it when you bust chops. So, King's Row, you have to imagine with the map pick here. And can they carry the momentum into this? I think that is so key. Lunatic-Hai have reverse swept before, but if you're GC Busan, you want to be that Royal Roader team.
Yeah.
Taking this second map is the best thing to get into the heads of Lunatic-Hai a little bit, even though they're so experienced.
The thing that I'm looking for as well is to see whether the composition's going to change for Lunatic-Hai, because they were stalwart on the Genji Tracer, and Eichenwald is going to be the choice here from Lunatic-Hai, and they have shown some pretty impressive strategies as well, especially when it comes to the escort section just before the second point.
It's also a great map for Genji. The dive you can use with Genji on the attack for point A is where we're going to see who are you shine, and they can grab that point early. They're so good at pushing it. They've also, Lunatic-Hai has had some incredible holds and defenses on the drawbridge, as well as on the castle, the high ground castle, where we might even see triple DPS. It could be
It was Lunatic-Hai that debuted that defense on the high ground on the castle as well, was it not?
Yeah. I mean, we saw it from a few teams in the old meta, but in this meta, yeah, they were the first team to do it. I would not be surprised if Jeong flexes the soldier on defense.
Yeah, it'd be exciting to see something change as far as composition here for Lunatic-Hai to bring this one back to an even scoreline and give us that best of 3 for the end of the night, or whether GC Busan can get another sweep. We'll see what happens as we head to Eichenwald. Chorus of Lunatic-Hai fans praying for a win here. I personally feel like if they do lose, might even be better, Wolf, just because then we get another potential Lunatic-Hai reverse sweep. They have to do it from Assault as well, which is always exciting to see. So
very exciting.
See how things start up, but it looks like Lunatic-Hai are pretty happy with this Tracer Genji composition.
Yep, that's what we're going to see. Hureg will be on Soldier here on defense. No surprise, no shocker. We saw, you know, the player who actually ran a lot of the Soldier on defense on this map on the high ground of the castle, for example, was Cox in the past on Runaway.
Yeah.
So that's...
he actually impressed a lot as well.
Yeah, he really did.
This map.
So feels like an old kind of comp here that's now meta. A mouse problem here. Not
you do need
sure.
a working mouse.
Yeah.
I find it hard to play Overwatch without a working mouse.
Looks like it's the mouse of Closer here, so, or Closure, as our announcer likes to call him.
Is it Closer, Closure, or Closer? What did you say, Closer?
Well, I think maybe, I'd say Closer.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, that's what the word is.
Sure. Well, I mean, there's Closer, and then there's Closer. There's 2 ways to say it, right?
Hey, that's true.
Like,
oh
closer,
man, I never even thought about that.
If you think about it, like, closer means, okay, he's closer to me. But if he's the closer, then he's the one who's going to close
that's a way cooler word for a name.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, he might want to bring some closure to his relationship with this mouse if it doesn't come back to full functionality.
That was pretty bad. That was pretty bad.
You know,
I appreciated it. It's like when you get into a pause like this, you need to really hunt for the really crappy jokes.
Well, I mean, if I ever become a father, I'm not gonna have many jokes left for how many dad jokes I've
no,
put
but
on the
that's the
broadcast.
best thing about being a father. You just recycle all of the jokes over and over again. and you have to laugh at them yourself, okay?
Well, I always do.
Yeah, okay. If you ever plan on being a dad, that's all you have to nail.
If I ever make a dad joke at Apex and you don't hear me laughing, it's because I'm struggling trying to hold it in, but I have the biggest grin while I see the fail fish in Atlas's eyes. All right.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it, man. I love me a good dad joke. I thought my dad was the funniest man alive, which is super dangerous.
Looks like the mouse issue is resolved.
Yeah, GC Busan now on the attack, and we'll see whether Lunatic-Hai are going to be able to make this Tracer Genji defense work out. Certainly has been something that they've done in the past, but they've done this comp so much in the past as well, and GC Busan going to know exactly what to expect here from Lunatic-Hai.
Already discorded his Guido, so going in risky right now. Just looking for a safe pick if he can find one.
Yeah, going to be able to snap his way back if he wants to.
Oh, misses the melee!
Oh, wow, yeah. Real unfortunate, but still going to be able to get the work done. Toby finishes that one off. There's Prophet doing some backline work as well. Actually takes down Miro, which is the opportunity that they want to go for, and Hureg then going to be able to get rid of Guido. That front line decimated on the side of Lunatic-Hai. Only Zumba now holding the fort as they look to defend.
Prophet still alive here, building towards that pulse bomb. Hureg is hiding behind this rubble, just trying to find some pot shots onto the backline while the tanks are away. They're back now, Zumba and Miro. They're going to dive onto Hureg. He protects himself really well with his biotic field. Finally goes down.
Yeah, Hagopyun actually just getting punished over and over again from Lunatic-Hai. They really are putting a target on his back and now actually able to get rid of GC Busan from this point almost completely. That pick onto Hureg. But we're starting to tick up to some ultimates. Toby a little bit behind closer when it comes to the sound barrier. Jaehong, as is his way, has charged up that Transcendence extraordinarily quickly.
Okay, Prophet's just going to go Hail Mary here onto Jaehong. Drops the pulse, doesn't find the stick. And with Gesture already down, this is a failed push again for GC Busan.
Yeah, Zumba actually grabbing that double just to clean things up. Now Closer going to get himself all the way back to spawn. Prophet doing the same thing and probably wants to hop into base. Does so, gets his health back, everything's going to be fine.
Yeah, definitely wants to ask Kago to put a Harmony Orb on so he can build that Transcendence a little bit faster.
Scary thing here is that Lunatic-Hai are not using resources to hold them off.
Yeah, I mean, they use the Transcendence only, but I mean,
yeah,
Busan is about to have 5 ultimates of their own, so the lack of Transcendence could actually be a big deal here. Who Are You is going to have the barrier. Will he pop the blade with it? Doesn't look like it. Wants to hold it for a better opportunity, and this is that opportunity.
Yeah, Who You actually just finds himself in a house, though. This is a bit of a disaster.
Yeah.
Almost running out of this Dragon Blade entirely. That was not what he wanted. Does get Hagopyun once again, but he's going to get punished. Doesn't seem to matter though. Lunatic-Hai getting the kills back as GC Busan, even though that ultimate was completely wasted from Who Are You, they're still not winning out on the fight.
Looks like they will eventually, potentially here, win that longer fight. With the support ultimates, they held on much longer there. Again, the conservative nature of Hagopyun and Closer has actually been really well done here. The support ultimates for Jaehong and Toby were used first in the fight, were not with the Dragon Blade. The Dragon Blade wasn't going to hit anybody no matter what anyways. But Busan held onto those support ultimates to win the longer fight. And even though Who Are You got that pick onto Hagopyun, he was able to come back and use that Transcendence. So let's see if Lunatic-Hai wants to change up their comp here for the defense now, or if they just want to keep running this dive.
Well, talking about changing up the comp, Hureg going to go over to his Doomfist now. See it on screen. We'll see whether this is in answer to this high ground strategy just around this next corner. Who Are You going to get rid of Hagopyun once more? It's been a bit of a disastrous run here for this Zenyatta, but he's had, like we mentioned before, a target pretty firmly painted on him. Now, can Hureg actually find any of these kills as well? As close as going to get rid of Guido, this is a big deal.
Yeah. Okay, so he's basically just helping zone the cart while they push it around the corner here. It was really strong in that choke point. Now he's got the high ground controlled, and Jaehong's not going to be long for this world, but he wins the 1v1! Uses
That's what
Transcendence.
happens. Jaehong is so good at hitting his buttons and landing these orbs.
I wish we could have seen the first-person view for that one. Oh my god. Well, there you go. I guess that's how you stop the push of the Doomfist. I guess you just bait him with the
Throw
Zenyatta.
balls in his face.
Kill him mid-air while falling off a castle while in hit stun from the Hureg punch. That's how you defend Eichenwald. That's what Jaehong says.
Yeah, we should put that in the guide, in the Zenyatta guide.
Yeah, Zenyatta field manual.
Yeah. Just throw orbs at him. That's how you do it.
Well, this is a shutdown push, and now Lunatic-Hai has positional advantage. This is very frustrating for Busan, but they have Hureg on the Doomfist to change all that.
This is the position that they wanted as well. Lunatic-Hai once again with a very early ultimate, and Hagopyun is going to answer that as well. So Sound Barrier traded for the Transcendence. Hureg well and truly healthy, just trying to find some of these picks. It gets the uppercut onto Toby. Could be a good way to start this one off, but not if Guido has anything to say about it.
Nice pulse there. Guido very low. Dragon Blade's going to come out here, but we'll see if it's a failed one. It looks like it so far has been pretty whiffed. Only gets the one. No Lunatic-Hai fans cheering on that Dragon Blade.
Yeah, but Zumba, he probably deserves it. Grabs a self-destruct kill on the Lucio, which is certainly what you want to find. Lunatic-Hai, I mean, this card has got a little bit further than other times we've seen them hold on Eichenwald, using that high ground now just underneath, as Prophet's going to help escort it up here. So they might actually make it to the castle, which is certainly good news.
Yeah, what's really scary about this, though, for Busan is they have such a weak time bank because it took them so long to get point A and to get around this corner, and we already know how good Lunatic-Hai is at buying time on this drawbridge. So with only a minute 10 to work with, they need to have really good ult exchanges here. They have an ult advantage just slightly right now. But it needs to be enough to win them a wipe to get through this checkpoint.
Well, stalling right here is exactly what Lunatic-Hai want to do. I'm having flashbacks, Wolf, to Season 2 as Miro's going to jump forward. No! Booped off the edge. It's actually Huyol is going to be able to do it. This is a disaster for Lunatic-Hai, and the wipe is going to continue as GC Busan just clean up the kills. That was stunning. Honestly, I feel like that's almost play of the game given over to Huyol already.
Yeah, Toby gets knocked out here. Bought a lot of time as Toby is wont to do, but we are going to have this door open here. And Lunatic-Hai just put all their eggs into the delay basting on Miro when he was dead with the Primal Rage. There was no other way to buy time there. Simply just was not going to happen. With him gone, Hureg was able to have a field day. So now they may actually, with this weak time, will still be able to potentially complete point C here.
Yeah, well, another Eaton Pulse Bomb's not going to help out for GC Busan as Transcendence is going to be thrown in. They really want to stay on this one. They know only a minute and a half is not exactly the time bank that you want to be looking at, as Hureg with the Meteor Strike is going to now try and find a Zenyatta or two and doesn't actually get it. Jaehong moves out of the way and Lunatic-Hai able to grab some kills to stop this push from GC.
Really good positioning there for Who Are You, actually getting all that damage done with the dashes without the Dragon Blade.
Still getting work done, as Guido does have a Pulse Bomb to throw out if he wants it.
GC Busan, unfortunately, is just a bit staggered right now, so even though they won that last exchange, it didn't matter because everyone was kind of walking back from respawn. They need to just group up and get ready for a final push here. Where you holds the Dragon Blade, Jaehyung will easily get that 20% very soon to help empower it. And the Transcenses have been basically, if Who Are You is doing good Dragon Blades, which has been a little bit off today, but the defense has always been on Hagopun's Transcendence against those Dragon Blades. He does not have that tool available, so this could be a massacre when that Dragon Blade flies out.
Well, Guido just going to get himself back in here as GC Busan invests the sound barrier. It was one of the only ultimates they actually had available to them as Hureg getting chunked out. Doesn't necessarily want to be. He wants to be on that front line as the self-destruct not going to find anything. And Huyol going to hop back into that mech now as well. Zumba able to pick up the kill under Gesture, and I don't know whether that was an eco leap. I don't know whether they have the time for eco leaps as there's only 13 seconds to go. Guido full health, harassing as much as he likes, and GC Busan, there might be one more push that they have available to them.
Yeah, this is basically going to be, this is it. Toby has sound barrier right now. Who Are You could build for the Dragon Blade in the longer fight. Here comes that sound barrier right now on the side of Toby. Hagapun built that Transcendence.
But the DPS didn't actually get the sound barrier at all. It means that Hureg able to get the pick onto Guido. Jaehong's going to fall down as well. This could be it for GC Busan as they have picked off half of Lunatic-Hai already. Only Zumba actually alive.
Does have that self-destruct to buy time. There's still 40 meters plus away here from this finishing checkpoint. They have time to respawn. They will be able to use that self-destruct to buy time here. Here they come, all respawned as one. The coordination is real. Prophet's hiding. Oh, the spawn camp, he gets Toby!
Toby, Miro's gonna fall down as well as Guido. He's gonna be able to get one back, but it's the punch to the face from Hureg that gets rid of him. It looks like GC Busan trying to find their way back in, and Who Are You? Denied immediately. Oh, this is a disaster for Lunatic-Hai if they're able to do it, and they do! GC Busan get the full push.
With such a weak time bank going into the point A capture, then the drawbridge capture, no one would have expected this team to be able to make that completion happen. But they did it off the backs of really nice
off the back
play.
of that guy on the screen right there who took a well-deserved drink. Getting rid of Miro just before the second point was so clutch from the man.
And the the tracking of who is weak and who to chase, because Lunatic-Hai is so good at delaying, what they do is Miro, for example, and Zumba will get very low, leave the fight, heal up, come back in with full health, which is building Toby's ultimate, right? And they know how to like kind of rotate their tanks in and out of the fights, but Prophet was always chasing down those members and securing mech kills, securing the kill on Miro, as we saw in that last fight. His kill onto Toby's Ana there at the end was fantastic as well.
Yeah.
He could have even gotten more, but he's understanding of how they were just going to rush out willy-nilly because they needed to get to the point ASAP, and knowing that he could actually swing a pulse bomb through there was really nice. And I never thought I'd say these words, but I have not been impressed with Ryu's Dragon Blades tonight on the Genji.
He hasn't really found himself, and I know, like we mentioned, this is the lunchbox crew as far as the DPS is concerned. That is because these are young guys. Huyu has been known as a clutch player in the past, but it's been when Lunatic-Hai have momentum. And when you're younger, when you don't necessarily have that mental fortitude, you can use positive momentum incredibly well. However, negative momentum really does play with your mind, and Huyu hasn't necessarily been a player like that, but it seems to be affecting him tonight.
Oh, certainly. And, you know, we know Huayu's mental state can easily be broken. He's a very emotional player. He was, you know, benched for such a long time in Season 3 for this reason. So, absolutely a great point you bring up. His age, he's very young. I think he certainly can turn it around. He's young, but he's very experienced.
Passionate as well. Is Guido going to get taken down extraordinarily low to start this game off? That is not exactly what you want, but he goes back, gets himself okay.
So let's see if Huayu with this attack dive comp can make this work. Hurig is again going to stick with the soldier. Very strong on this map, very much new meta to run the soldier here on defense.
Well, Miro testing the waters here as he jumps his way forward, and you can see Lunatic-Hai playing this one a lot more slowly than GC Busan. They were just throwing themselves at this point over and over again on their attack run. It didn't necessarily work out as Huayu. Some decent damage with that reflect, but you can see GC Busan holding them off for the moment, but we're close to the first tick for Lunatic-Hai as we move in, and the health bars are getting low.
Prophet wants him, gets booped away. It looks like Huayu will get healed up and survive. Close call there.
Doing some work here at the same time as Zumba's mech is going to get removed, and that means that Lunatic-Hai will need to get out of here. Thankfully, Gesture taken down, but the rest of the kills certainly going in favor of GC Busan. Lunatic-Hai going to have to try again, but no worries here for Lunatic-Hai fans just yet.
Well, this is definitely still a very large time bank to work with. This is a totally fine position. They're going to have the Dragon Blade here soon. Let's see if Huayu can finally have that, you know, famed Dragon Blade. Maybe he can make a Dragon Blade here that'll be in the highlight reel for the round of 4. It needs to start happening. He's going to get an opening pick. Maybe he won't need that Dragon Blade.
Well, Sound Barrier is going to come out, but Hagapyeon not going to benefit from it whatsoever, and the Dragon Blade, like you said, was in there, and it's a double kill this time. Huyu's getting his eye in by the looks of things. This could be their way in. The first tick is going to come through for Lunatic-Hai. Prophet going to deny, Guido going to deny Prophet.
And there you have it.
Should be that.
Yep, so a much, much larger time bank. 3 minutes larger than what Busan had, basically, to do the same thing. And Huayu had that incredible Dragon Blade. He had the opening pick there, and they used the Dragon Blade with the Transcendence this time that Jaehong had, so Huayu was able to do a lot. We didn't see it on screen because we were watching Prophet, but Huayu was well protected.
Oh, Prophet, that was cute.
What an attempt.
Yeah, doesn't get the stick, but that would have been highlight reel material.
A for effort, I guess.
You can't spell.
No, I mean, like, he got an A grade. That was the thing that came in my mind as well.
Come on, dad joke, man. You got to keep up. Okay. Attack fires are going to come out from Hureg, looking for some kills, but only finding a bit of damage here. Not exactly optimal, as Huyo does have a self-destruct to try and get them away from this payload if he wants it, but it's Guido getting the kills, and we don't have a mech anymore for GC Busan. They tried this high ground advantage, but didn't really get it. Guido, wrong place, wrong time there as he gets picked up by the dying mech, but Huyu's going to say it doesn't matter because we're going to trade, getting rid of Prophet at the same time.
Probably happy that the self-destruct was used even in this case, because it's not going to be available for drawbridge contesting.
Well, speaking of contesting, look at where GC Busan are. This is nowhere near the payload the Lunatic-Hai are happily meandering along with.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because this comp is so good with the soldier on the high ground here to control, but if you can't gain control of this area, the soldier is essentially worthless. He's very vulnerable on the drawbridge, not a lot of room to work with. So, very risky now, the comp that GC Busan is sticking with at this stage.
Huyu does have that Dragon Blade once again. Been fantastic at building that one up, even if the Dragon Blades themselves haven't necessarily been the best.
I mean, Lunatic-Hai has a massive ult advantage. They're going to use the Transcendence early. Sound Barrier will match it here, but, I mean, No, as you say, they're nowhere near the point. Like, Lunatic-Hai looks like the defending team at this stage. They just avoid the dive here. Picks are coming through, but the point is still pushing.
Yeah, the positioning just not exactly what you want for a GC Busan fan, but that is going to be Lunatic-Hai going for a reset, which is not necessarily what you want to do. You saw Zumba actually just fly his mech off the edge, understanding that the fight was lost, but the position of the cart is exactly what GC Busan wanted, because that run back is hectic, especially on this map.
It's a very long run back. Lunatic-Hai, I think, is happy with what they were able to accomplish, though, and the reset is just to come in with the big 6 push potentially here. They have a lot of time to work with. Remember, no time bank on the side of GC Busan. They finished in overtime, so they still feel comfortable here at 2 minutes.
Yep, Sound Barrier comes in. Huayu does have that Dragon Blade. Is going to throw it in now. Zureg has the tack visor, but it's a bit of a disaster. Huayu just gets destroyed, though. Just the last remaining seconds of that tack visor going to take him down.
Toby's Sound Barrier not enough, and again, the Transcendence users from Hagapun saves them against the Dragon Blade. Hagapun's Transcendences have been really on point tonight, and that was just another one of the reasons why Lunatic-Hai is now going to struggle. They used everything, all the ults I was talking about, all the position that they had. They're like, okay, we're just a few meters away, we have all these ultimates, we should be able to close this out, but they failed to do so. And the comfortable position they had before now is no longer there. In fact, this looks like a win for Busan to go up 2-0 at this stage. So
yeah, this is real dire. Hureg actually building up towards that tack visor quite quickly, as well as he's over a third of the way through it. Prophet is just providing so much pressure here for GC Busan. Guido taking so much damage. Who are you just there? Having to really give the respect to this Tracer. Gesture gets rid of Miro, and the whole front line has now been destroyed once again. Drawing board once returned to for Lunatic-Hai last time, going to come back to yet again as Hureg gets rid of Zumba. And these are staggered kills that Lunatic-Hai can't afford. Only a minute remaining.
Silence in the studio. Hands are clasped for the Lunatic-Hai fans.
They're staring down the barrel of another 3-0.
Okay, Guido's going to try to backdoor this. Is Busan actually too far forward? Okay, Prophet comes in. This one is so important, actually. Prophet needs to win this.
Yeah, Prophet gets himself back, but Guido knows exactly where he is.
Oh my god, okay, this is so intense right now.
Guido down to 30, but does have another snapback. Prophet in trouble, Guido wins it!
They need to send somebody back here.
Yeah, what is happening? Everyone jumps onto the point. Gesture finally makes his way in, but Jaehong's going to get rid of him. And Lunatic-Hai with the ballsy play are able to pick that one up. Jaehong jumps off the edge. That's a bit of a disaster.
Yeah, Hureg doing a lot of damage here. It's going to get onto that high ground. This is still potentially a win here for GC Busan. Guido not able to get any more picks, but Hagapun is down.
Toby's going to get knocked off the edge again. Wuyol, this position seems to be exactly what he wants, and ironically gets rid of the Lucio. We're into the overtime as the Primal Rage is looking to try and hold on to this one for GC Busan. They need to get here, and they have members now on the point. Barrier comes in, Miro gets rid of Wuyol.
Jaehong gets the high ground, though.
On the Soldier as well. Look at that damage. The tracking is beautiful.
No one knows that he's there. No one knew, so no one was able to punish him. Such a great position for Jaehong there. Sneaks up, they get the take. That's the kind of play you want to see from a support player who flexes to Soldier. Intelligent decision-making from Jaehong. Goes to the high ground. He's one of the best DPS players in the world, too. Just doesn't play it all too often. Goes up onto the high ground, surprises GC Busan. They don't have time to react because he's on the high ground shooting from behind them. Two clutch plays, one from Guido to backdoor to set up that amazing fight, and the second there from Jaehong. Very impressive.
So cool as well as when he switches back, he just gets an Orb of Harmony on Miro, who was low health, and gets so much ticking up on this Transcendence. Sound Barrier was used from Lunatic-Hai there, and GC Busan having to get themselves back out. Transcendence just up now. We've got a lot of ultimates just coming in here for GC Busan, and Hureg back on the Doomfist to try and get work done in the enclosed spaces. He's going to start with Guido.
This is really bad for Lunatic-Hai. No support ultimates. Jaehong's down. Who are you? Used the Dragon Blade. Failed to get a kill. Sure, they killed Gesture, but the run back for him is nothing. He's just going to simply respawn here. And for Lunatic-Hai fans, now might be the time to start worrying a little bit here.
Yeah, we only got 20 seconds to go. Remember, GC Busan, it was super clutch the way they pushed through to finish things off last time around. Lunatic-Hai going to have to do the same thing. They're no strangers to that type of play. However, GC Busan have just looked so damn good. It was almost luck that got Lunatic-Hai the point before. Yep, that's going to be the self-destruct, not finding it at all.
That's really unfortunate. That's a tool they could have used to buy so much more time.
Yeah, Primal Rage is going to come in now as Jaehong's going to answer with the Transcendence. They are able to get that cart moving, but we are in overtime once again. GC Busan, they lose profit, but they do have the sound barrier to keep everyone else alive. Jaehong still landing those orbs really nicely, and they do now have the man advantage. Both of these support ultimates now invested by GC Busan.
Okay, here comes Zumba's self-destruct. Doesn't find any kills with it, but gets the reset. Urek's so dangerous with his positioning.
Yeah, and that's going to be Lunatic-Hai getting the picks. Are they going to be able to find enough, though, is the question, as they're looking to push this one through. GC Busan will have the time to get themselves onto this point and try and hold on, but Guido, he says no. Agapyun is going to fall down. Who are you with a Dragon Blade? Now looking to try and answer for all of the ones that failed on control, and he's going to do it. The front line evaporates, and Lunatic-Hai looking to bring it to that overtime round.
2 overtime finishes
God.
back to back. Doesn't get any tenser than this.
This is super close, but I think already GC Busan have proven themselves a team worthy of the respect of Lunatic-Hai, because they took us to the very edge of control and were able to win out. Then their amazing push to start this one off, and honestly, Lunatic-Hai, the very limit was reached on that push.
They not only did they reach the limit, they showed us 2 unique things, 2 smart things that only a team that's been in several seasons of Apex now, 3, 2-time champion, team that's been around this long. This is the sole team for Overwatch League. The experience shows when 2 moves happen. Guido's backdoor, which caused GC Busan to have to go home and get out of position. His backdoor and Jaehong's soldier on the high ground.
And
2
then
moves,
winning the Tracer battle as well for Guido. That was huge.
2 moves that most teams wouldn't have thought of. Most teams would have just tried to play as standard as possible, would have just tried to win the larger fight.
Yeah,
but
play the front to back Overwatch.
Yeah,
right?
but strategically, Lunatic-Hai made 2 moves that helped them win, or rather at least tie this map. We are going to see, it looks like Who Are You on the Junkrat here. Not going to have a lot of time to build a Dragon Blade on the Genji is, just 1 minute to go here. So going to be the Junkrat defense attempt, and GC Busan's going to take the risk here with the Pharah. And you know what? With no long-range hit scan other than Jaehong, basically, this is going to be very difficult for Lunatic-Hai to defend.
Yeah. Well, they have been able to deal with this one before, but it has largely been Who Are You's Genji that's been something that to get rid of these Pharahs. Now, difficulties for Lunatic-Hai. They have been better on the attack than GC Busan as far as this map is concerned so far today. Can GC Busan turn this one around and actually manage to get this cap? Because every tick matters as GC Busan actually casually move themselves onto this payload. And just not a lot of options here for Lunatic-Hai. Zumba already losing the mech, and that's a disaster. There's had no defense matrix to get rid of these rockets.
They had to get back because of the rockets, and then they were caught in a choke point. Who Are You unable to really do anything on the Junkrat? Look, he's at 15% when he dies. 15. No damage dealt. That's an insane capture here for GC Busan. They did it before the time bank expired, and now they're going to push. This is not a happy time if you were a Lunatic-Hai fan. That just simply, they took a risk with the Junkrat comp. They had to back off there because of the pharmacy, and it did not go well.
They just weren't expecting the pharmacy composition from GC Busan. We know that Hurek can do it, but his soldier plus the Tracer of Profit has looked brilliant. Just not necessarily working on the attack. I love the change up here for GC Busan, and it worked out so well. Guido holds onto his pulse bomb, doesn't find the stick onto the mech there either, as Who Are You's going to finally be able to take down closer. GC Busan answering back though, rocket barrage coming in. That's actually going to be able to leave the Pharah alive, which hasn't been a thing that barrages have allowed for a lot of these Pharahs.
Yeah.
And still able to wipe out Lunatic-Hai.
Killing Guido there was so huge. Now they've got control of this high ground area. It's just like shooting fish in a barrel as Lunatic-Hai struggles to come out. We see a lot of big pushes on overtime like this because teams panic and they attack recklessly without real coordination. Then they die to the team that's coordinated and all on the point, and the push continues. You have to be very careful and coordinated, even though every second you wait, you lose distance. So Lunatic-Hai is going to wait for that coordination, but Jaehong's already down.
Yeah, just sniped by Hurek, who's having such a good day today. They're trying to get themselves onto this point. Guido does find one onto closer, but Who Are You now having to deal with all of these rockets? Hurek is untouched. He's just getting charged up with all of this damage. Huya makes it back into his mech as well. As you saw, that was incredibly close.
Man, Hurek staying alive down here as well, and
yeah, Hagopyun just keeping everyone alive on the side of GC Busan. This Mercy pick is brilliant for these overtime moments.
Yes, Mercy is so strong in these moments because of the res potential. Okay, who are you? Can he kill the Mercy? I don't think so. Too far away. Trying to go down here for closer. He fails.
Oh my god. Toby's able to get Gesture off the edge though. Who are you? Very close to having an incredible play. Really almost sacrificing himself as Jaehong once again going to move over to the Soldier to try and get something done.
I think that's it.
Yeah, finally Lunatic-Hai are actually able to get some kills and the overtime ticks down. But that was one hell of a heroic push from GC Busan, and once again, it's only a minute available for Lunatic-Hai, and it's not like you have to get 2 ticks. You have to get 1 tick on the point. It's you have to push it halfway to the next point.
Yeah, you have to push it more than halfway to the drawbridge with long respawn timers. While you're doing so, the switch from Jaehong to the Soldier was something I think that was sorely missed in the early part of that defense. The Junkrat was a risk they took. It failed. And then they only at the end of things put Jaehong on the Soldier to deal with the farmer. So I think that should have happened earlier. Because remember, this team does not really have a dedicated Soldier player. Guido has played the Soldier before. Who are you? Has played Soldier before. And Jaehong has played Soldier before. You want one of your DPSs to be dedicated Soldier, though. And that's Eska. And he's not in this roster. So I feel like if this continues, if they continue to struggle against these types of comps, maybe they will sub Eska in. But for the time being, they don't have that opportunity. They're going to have just as incredible of an attack as Busan did. We doubted them in the castle to complete point C that they would be able to do what Busan did. They did it. So let's not count them out yet here because it certainly could happen.
Yeah. This is like incredibly dangerous for Lunatic-Hai, no matter how you spin it though. Yes, they are. This is a clutch team. This is the most clutch team that Apex has ever seen, to be honest, as far as the amount of reverse sweeps that they have. And even if they lose here, they do have that reverse sweep possibility to come in. However, GC Busan put them in that position before and silenced the critics immediately on Assault.
So it is just going to be that Soldier Tracer defense here. Busan is not going to change up what has been working for them. They did not have as good of a defense as Lunatic-Hai did. However, this man right here.
Yeah, Guido going to jump his way forward. Discord Orb's going to detract from his ability to stay here. Now Lunatic-Hai trying to get themselves onto this point, and I believe if they get staved off almost once, it's going to be all she wrote for Lunatic-Hai. Miro's going to be taken out already, and it's a disaster. GC Busan going to have that one traded, though, as the D.Va Mech's going to get removed by Guido.
The Reg's still alive, though. That's a scary thing. Toby is being gunned down at the moment. I don't know if they're going to be able to make this happen.
Yeah, the coordination on these DPS players is brilliant, but it is going to be Guido that silences it. Hureg's going to get removed, but Huyo, look at that, just gets rid of the Tracer. The D.Va Mech's down as well, and Prophet now free reign to get destruction in here. 1 second to go, and now desperation for Lunatic-Hai, but there's so many dead. Overtime's ticking down, and GC Busan on the brink of a 2-0 lead against Lunatic-Hai. That will be that.
It feels like I've seen this somewhere before. This time, up 2-0 again against Lunatic-Hai, and they might get the 3-0 perfect score here. I think the lack of a Soldier player, a dedicated Soldier player in this meta is really hurting Lunatic-Hai. Other teams, GC Busan, run away, putting Cox on the Soldier. Even Cloud9 Kongdo as well, a team that has dedicated Soldier players, putting the Bird Ring there, putting Rascal occasionally as well on the Soldier in moments like this is just so important. Soldier's got self-sustained. He can deal with the Farm Mercy, which was their big problem, obviously, on the second push there. I'm not trying to say that the best, the best probably Genji player in the world should be playing a different hero. I'm just trying to say that I think the lack of depth that this team is showing, only running the Tracer Genji.
Tracer Genji the whole time, Wolf.
The lack of depth, I think, is a problem. And I
think even switching over to an Ana to deal with it, right? Like, I mean, that's still long-range damage, and we know Jaehong is fantastic at any form of hit scan. Give him the task. I mean, he's throwing orbs at people while he's getting punched and also winning those duels. Like, these sort of change-ups need to happen. And what has GC Busan been doing well? They've been changing these comps. They've been creating opportunities for themselves to find the victory.
There's only one player of all the 15 DPSs who has less than 1 KDA. It's Eska. But I feel like maybe in a situation like this, during this break, they have to make the tough choice. They have to decide, do we sub Who Are You out for Eska here? Put the Genji away, run the Tracer Soldier that our opponents are. We'll never know until the break is over.
Yeah, exactly. It is a long break. They are going to be able to discuss with themselves, with their coaches, things like that as well. But guys, it is looking like dire straits once again for Lunatic-Hai. Whether they're going to be able to perform the reverse sweep again like we saw against teams like Kongbu Panthera, I'm not entirely sure because GC Busan have proven themselves in the past and they're now poised to do it once again, guys. We'll see you at the end of the break.
에너지가 필요한 순간 핫식스와 함께 핫하게 즐겨라. 올여름 가장 핫한 리그 오버워치 핫식스 에이펙스.
Game, record, and stream without compromise.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Apex Season 4. Yes, that is correct. 2-0 for GC Busan once again. But the questions that you're all asking yourselves in that break was, are we going to see the same Lunatic-Hai? And I believe we are not.
I think they made the tough choice, the choice they had to make. And I think they are subbing Who Are You out for Eska. Saw his nameplate at least as we were zooming in here, so I think he is in the booth. Hidden from us at the moment. You can see in the background there, just a little bit of that action, but yeah. When they were down 2-0 against GC Busan, last time they picked Volskaya, and they subbed Eska in for Taejun. Taejun was removed, and Eska was put in the booth. And it didn't work. They lost the series 3-0.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels like this is a mirrored situation here. Eska is sub for Who Are You. I called it because this is just, I feel like this is what needs to happen. You know, we saw the struggles of Who Are You tonight. It's an old meta to just try to run Genji Tracer. It's worked for Lunatic-Hai for the entirety of their careers pretty much. You know, stemming from Season 2's victory there against Runaway.
Yeah.
But tonight it has failed. The support ultimates coming out have been really good against the Dragon Blades. Who Are You has not really been able to accomplish too much.
And they've only had one composition that they can really run, to be honest. It feels like the Genji Tracer every single time, and GC Busan just aren't challenged because they already figured out what they need to do to try and stop that one from happening.
The lack of long-range hit scan, the lack of a dedicated soldier player, I feel like really limited their options. And now they're going to bring Eska in. He has, as I say, there are 15 DPS players in the round of 8. He has the lowest KDA at 87 kills, 94 deaths, 0.93. The only player with a sub-1 KDA in this tournament who's still left alive. But
not exactly a medal you really want to put on your wall.
The thing is, no, it's certainly not. But I think even if you have, technically speaking, in terms of kill-death ratios, the worst DPS player, it's still better than having a Genji who can't accomplish anything and having a soldierless composition. So,
and also he's the Sombra player as well. And on maps like Volskaya, on a lot of the Assault maps, Sombra has been something we've seen used to great effect. And if they decide to mix things up, go for a triple DPS comp like Lunatic-Hai are want to do more often than certainly a team like GC Busan, they could opt into the Soldier on Ryujahong and then grab the Sombra and the Tracer coming out from Gitter and Eska. So it could be an opportunity for them if they want to head back to Volskaya, because of course they get a choice again.
Literally everything you said, I think, is like what is about to happen. It's going to be Eska on the Sombra. They're going to pick Volskaya. The high ground left side will be where Jaehong plays Soldier. Eska will be hacking, harassing. He'll have that health pack hack. Talking about defense on Volskaya, right? I think everything you said just will come true. And very likely we'll have Toby on the Ana. So that's a very likely scenario. However, it could still be double support. It could be Eska as something here to play the Soldier, as he tried to do when they lost to GC Busan on Volskaya. They have picked three actually, Assault maps this season. Twice Anubis, once Volskaya. Anubis was picked oftentimes because they think it's a good map for Genji, and also because Taejun was there on attack on the Widow. We saw his highlight reel earlier. So Taejun obviously not subbed in, and I think we are definitely going to go to Volskaya here.
Well, you can see Eska still sorting things out.
He's unhappy with his mouse sensitivity, but he's very okay with his monitor being slightly askew. That's how he prefers it.
Yeah. The reason it's not working is because, in fact, your monitor isn't actually working right now as well. Thank goodness we weren't doing anything silly, because we're back on screen, Wolf.
Yes.
As we sort everything out for Eska and make sure that everything is absolutely fine.
Yeah, and obviously, vehicle of esports, blah, 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 blah. Best possible case scenario, you know. We're doing the commentator thing where for a while we talk about, like, why they sub, what compositions they're probably going to run, things that might occur, why they did it, history of the teams, we did a little bit of that. And then the issue wasn't solved yet, so now we're going back, and then we're talking about how the vehicle of esports needs to, you know, you have to best settings, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
So now why don't we just skip all that part and just talk about what'd you eat for lunch today?
What I ate for lunch today? Well, I had Mexican food. You were there.
I know.
Yeah.
That was a weird question.
Yeah, it was good though, you know. If you remember, I actually invited you after ordering your meal. That's how in sync we are.
He knew exactly what I wanted. He knows every time. Well, to be fair, I do order the same thing at the restaurant every time.
It's not exactly like it's difficult to choose from one option, to be honest.
I am that kind of person. Every time I go to a restaurant, if I order something there, and even if it's just enough satisfying, it doesn't have to be great. If it's satisfying, I will never order anything again. That's the kind of person I am, right? I'm the regular.
You're a settler. That's what you are.
Yeah.
You're a settler. He's found his option. This one's good. Why would I ever want to change?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why every restaurant I go to in Korea that I'm a regular of, they don't even give me a menu, because they already know what I want and how I want it.
I want it, and then it's also really, really easy. I need that because I don't speak much Korean yet.
Well, just become a regular at places and eat the same thing every time, like I did.
Yeah, well, I did, and then the damn place closed.
Oh.
Ugh.
It's because you went there too often. Yeah, had enough.
What do you mean? If I go there too often, they're going to have heaps of money to be able to get the work done.
Well, they wanted heaps of money to move away from you. You're going there too often, man. It's driving crazy.
Damn it.
So they spent all your hard-earned money to upgrade their restaurant and get away from you.
Yeah. And that's, to be perfectly honest, exactly what he did. Just moved to a better area. This is a disaster.
It's a very fantastic feeling, though, for me when I go into, like, say, a pho restaurant. See the pho restaurant in my house a lot. Ironically, it's called Little Papa. Papa doesn't really go there.
I know, he's not actually a fan of Little Papa.
Well, when I go there, the guy comes over to get the menu, and then he just walks away when he sees it's me. All right, so
let's get back into the game. Okay, where are we going?
We're going to Hanamura, actually.
Okay, bit of a change-up.
First time pick for Lunatic-Hai this season. They have not picked this map a single time.
So you said that I was going to be right. Well, I've been 100% wrong so far. We'll have to see about the compositions. GC Busan, as you can see, 2-0 so far in this series. As we give you a little bit of a recap, talking about Mexican food and things like that probably has put you off. But to get back into the swing of things, it is match point. Now for GC Busan, willing to Royal Road their way towards the final. They need to get through the Season 2 and 3 champions to get there. I mean, they are poised to make it.
If they win this next map, they will have 6-0'd Lunatic-Hai, had an incredible run, a tough group. Remember, they started this season off with a 1-3 loss to Luxury Watch Red. And how far they've come, how far they've improved. as a team is incredible. Let's see if Eska is going to be playing that soldier and what they're running here, but this is a surprise pick. It's not going to be mirrored where they lost to Volskaya last time.
Yeah, well, they definitely don't want to lose again on Volskaya like last time as well. So we're going to set a completely different path through history in this series. We'll see whether it's going to work out for Lunatic-Hai as we head to Hanamura.
I get it.
All right. Clutch Masters themselves, everyone in this. It feels like a lot of the Jisoo Busan fans were also cheering for Lunatic-Hai just because they wanted to get their money's worth out of this series. No one expecting a 3-0 again. If they were, I feel like a lot of people were actually expecting it the other way around, saying that Lunatic-Hai is not going to fall for any of the funny business that GC Busan threw at them last time, and it's going to be business as usual for the champions.
Yeah. Remember, this is a team that
see you closer.
Has made playoffs every season. Season 1, there was the round of 8 playoffs. That was before we had the double group stage. They lost to Unsia. Season 2, they were champions. Season 3, they were champions. If they lose this map, it will be the first season Lunatic-Hai does not make playoffs at Apex. They've been in all 4 seasons, and it's just a shock at how dominant the performance has been from Busan.
Yeah, and I feel like this is like actually one of those things that we should be talking about with accolades to GC Busan and accolades to the Korean Overwatch scene, to be honest, because we're seeing NC Foxes make their way through to the playoffs, as well as now potentially GC Busan poised to do the same thing. It just shows that the new guns certainly looking good.
Oh, nice shot here on the Hureg. He is going to be positioned into the building here.
Yeah, Eska actually debuting nicely.
Yeah, makes a run for it, gets out, but this is a lot of pressure. Oh, Eska looking for the under the roof shot here.
Yeah, the roof actually in pretty poor position.
This is actually really good tactics by Lunatic-Hai. They draw the squishies out of the building, then collapse on the tanks. And Gesture will be the first tank to die here. Prophet gets sniped.
Yeah, picked off by Eska there. Fantastic stuff.
This is likely a capture.
Yeah, they're looking like it. First tick not quite found just yet. Guido is going to be able to clean up the last members in here. Zomba loses his mech, but that's about it, and he's just going to go for that reset. So really nice first cap by Lunatic-Hai to start off Assault and start off their reset in this series.
So Eska won this fight for them because what he did was he forced the squishy members, the backline, to get out of the inside there, which meant it was just kind of a collapsing onto Gesture. And then, just by that pressure alone, they're able to win the fight, get those picks, Eska kills Prophet, and it's all over from there. So Eska's Widowmaker here, even though he hasn't gotten any highlight reel clips, the pressure alone, you can see where everyone is standing for Busan. They can't be where they want to be doing damage. It's incredible.
Yeah, not having any of that space that they had available to them for the entirety of the first 2 maps that we saw. Prophet finally gets himself on the board, but it's only going to even things out here for GC Busan. This final point, certainly the more difficult one here on Hanamura, so you're not going to be too worried about missing out on point A, but this time bank is massive now for Lunatic-Hai to try and push their way through.
Eska was finally taken out there by Prophet, so we'll make the switch back to the Soldier that we knew was going to be very important on this Assault map. We thought it would be Volskaya, but still incredibly useful when you can control the high ground here to do damage.
Yeah, well now finally they are going to be able to have that Tracer Soldier composition that we saw working out so well for GC Busan. So able to match it with Eska now on the lineup, and despite the fact that he has certainly not the best KDA, he does have clutch moments, does Eska, as Prophet looks for it, finds the Pulse Bomb kill onto the mech. Still important.
And we're going to see this potential pick here as well onto Gesture again. It's going the wrong way that way with the Primal Rage and ult used. So Lunatic-Hai is just building up these ultimates in fantastic position now in terms of ult economy. Another pick here onto Hureg. Another thing to mention is even though Eska has the worst KDA, it was not always his fault.
Oh, wow.
Okay,
great Helix Rocket to come in there as the sound barrier is going to be in. Lunatic-Hai trying to hold on to themselves as Gesture. Now a pretty angry Monkey with the nano boost, but not actually finding any luck with it whatsoever. And that's probably one of the worst tac buys that we have ever seen.
Yeah, definitely not getting much out of that one. Lunatic-Hai actually might be able to push this momentum forward. Eska's going to drop his. Sound barrier to answer, but still, doing a lot of damage. Hurek does get the kill, though.
Yeah, straight in the back of the head as Eska just slightly out of position, not exactly knowing where Hurek was. Good wraparound. GC Busan holding on. The defense has been impressive, but Lunatic-Hai on the attack have looked good no matter what. Even in that 3-0 that we saw from GC Busan, the attack runs from Lunatic-Hai were good.
I think we're going to see the switch off the Sombra for Jaehong after an EMP if it doesn't work out. That was designed to help finish the push. We're going to see Closer actually switch to Torgo on a weird late switch. Prophet gets a pick on the Eska.
Yeah, nicely done.
But I want to go back to a point I was making earlier. Eska's KDA being low is often a result of the fact they were running with mixed rosters, right? Where Guido was playing support or Tajin was playing Tracer. It was just not very successful. So obviously your KDA is going to be lower in moments like that. So Eska was considered the better soldier player in terms of Hurek versus Eska, even though he has the lower KD, if that makes sense. So
somewhat, yes. Jaehong's actually going to switch over to the Sombra here.
Yeah,
we were expecting this type of composition, but instead of the soldier being in the hands of Jaehong, it's going to be Eska, still piloting that guy.
He's going to use this EMP.
Oh,
well,
sick double pulse bomb to come out from Prophet. Nowhere that they could go, just stuck in the corridor, and he survives on 5 health as well. Okay, that was massive. Guido very, very close to falling as well. Thankfully had that rewind.
3 minutes of the 6:30 have burned away now with this. And, you know, Closer is building up towards that Molten Core again. And, you know, Hurek's in fantastic position to get that tack visor. Right? They're able to efficiently kill everybody without using ultimates. They're going to have an ult advantage soon. Jaehong is just trying to make this EMP work. Surprised he's sticking with the Sombra pick for so long. I think he really just wants to EMP and switch if it fails, but there's going to be that EMP. He's found already by Prophet. Gets the hack, though, so Prophet can't recall. Nice pick.
Nicely done. And Zumba's actually going to be able to take down the turret here as well. So Lunatic-Hai wanting to break their way forward. Not quite finding the EMP, though, as the defense matrix comes in from Huyal, but doesn't seem to be enough as Pulse Bomb finds Hagopyeon and Gesture once again diving a little bit too far forward. And Eska with attack visor just going to clean things up.
Does not have Molten Core, does Closer. It's a big problem here, could actually buy a lot of time, but the turret's down again. Lunatic-Hai in fantastic position for this.
Oh, well, there's the Nano Dot Monkey to try and change this one around. He's at massive health. See whether it's actually going to be enough. Lunatic-Hai just going to wait this one out by the looks of things as they're still trying to get to the very end of this tick.
Hurek
with the tag visor, fantastic position, exactly. And Eska just gets wiped out. So much damage, and that could have been that.
Surprise soldier. We saw it from Jaehong earlier tonight.
We saw it from Hurek this game.
Yeah, and now it's one of those things where if you don't know where the soldier player is, this can happen. But you get that sneaky high ground from behind. He killed everyone.
Yeah, and Eska actually, you know, like last time got hit in the back of the head here just before. And then once again, Hurek with the same flanking maneuver gets himself into the right position. But that was very, very close. Probably too close for comfort.
And now Closer,
GC Busan.
And now Closer has that Molten Core available. They bought enough time with this wipe. When Lunatic-Hai was at 90%, the nano boosted Winston. Nice move here by Jaehong. He's going to take out the turret.
Gets himself onto the health pack there as well, and he's able to get himself out.
So, they want to, if they can consistently eliminate the turrets before Molten Cores go off, that would be huge. Looks like they're trying to set up for a stronger push with the tack visor to use the EMP to drop everyone's shields, drop the defenses, the defense matrix specifically, so that the tack visor can do a lot of damage. Eska doesn't have it yet. They're just patiently ticking it up right now.
Yeah, turret been very close to another nano though, which will give a lot of extra power here to Gesture, who's very close to the Primal Rage, about 90% now for him.
Guido used his recall and didn't get the turret. That's very unfortunate here. Will he be able to kill Hurek?
Doesn't look like it. He's just going to stand on the biofield. It's going to be absolutely fine. Sound barrier coming in here from Lunatic-Hai. They want to commit to this push right now as Prophet dives his way forward. The EMP comes down as well, so he's not going to be able to move as Zumba gets rid of this turret. And Eska now with the attack visor gets rid of Prophet to start things off, but Gesture is going to answer with the kill onto Toby. He's a big monkey in this fight, and it's actually a monkey off between him and Miro.
Miro used his Primal Rage first, so now Gesture's going to be able to use his. It's going to last longer.
Yeah, GC Busan really limping in this one, but look at Hurek. He has the attack visor once again. Can he actually get it done? A self-destruct is going to take down Miro. Gesture as well, going to get rid of Zumba, and there's just not a lot more frontline that Lunatic-Hai has We are very, very close to the end of this, and they are so close once again for
Toby.
Lunatic-Hai, but so far, unfortunately.
Toby's just trying to buy time here. He's done it so well so many times. He lives for so long, but it won't matter. The rest of the team coming in slowly, too slow. Eska has the high ground here, but he's going to have to give it up to keep the overtime rolling, and that's a dead soldier.
Yeah, Miro finally finds his way onto the point as we've got at least an invisible Sombra to start this timer moving a little bit more, but it's a bit of a disaster here for Lunatic-Hai as they're unable to get the final point. The first cap was fantastic and they did make it to 2 ticks, but the hold is going to come through to GC Busan in the end.
Okay, so now GC Busan is as close as they have ever been to a semifinals at Apex. They just have to get that completion on point B, and it's theirs. What we saw there from Eska, the sniping we saw on point A was incredible. The zoning was good. They were definitely practiced with this composition. But what we saw on defense there, Hureg saved the day with that high ground defense. If he had not done that, they would have lost the point minutes ago. Like 3 minutes, time bank would have been there. That was perfect, and we saw great play again from Hagupun, this time on the Ana, not on the Zenyatta. And he and Gesture whole-handedly bought 2 full pushes worth of times with those nano boosts, with the very patient Primal Rage we saw coming out from Gesture. GC Busan looking fantastic tonight. It's not over yet. Well, Lunatic-Hai definitely going to be unhappy with this scenario, that they might just fall out of Apex the first time they would not make playoffs in 4 seasons. It could happen in just a few minutes' time.
Well, we have to remember how far Lunatic-Hai were able to tick up as well, which could come into massive play towards the end of this. It means that GC Busan pretty much has to take point B in order to be in any contention. It's not like you have to get 1 tick or 2 ticks or anything like that. It's like basically 96% for Lunatic-Hai as they got
96.5 even, Atlas.
Oh, even more. And we should be rounding up if it's a 0.5. So 97%.
Yeah.
For GC Busan in order to take the victory here against Lunatic-Hai.
Now, Atlas, I'm a little bit concerned about the Junkrat defense attempt here. Very risky. If it fails hard, and Busan will get an incredible time bank, just like Lunatic-Hai had. If it works, though, it could get them the full hold with good rip tires. They can build those ultimates. They failed to do so when Who Are You was on the Junkrat. This time it's going to be Eska. We'll see if he can do a little bit more. Already going to get Profit.
Oh, okay.
That's 23%. That's all Who Are You was able to build on Eichenwald. He got it in 1 second.
All too easy. Profit is going to respawn, though, and it was a bit of a cheese move from Eska, but is going to buy them some valuable seconds.
Hureg's going to switch to the Widowmaker here to try to repeat what Eska was able to accomplish last time. Zone everybody out. Eska gets a second pick on the Prophet.
Doesn't seem like there's much that Prophet can do here. Now Hureg doing the best that he can to try and get himself into a position to try and get some headshots, but it just doesn't look like it.
Lunatic-Hai really good at understanding how to position against this Widowmaker play.
GC Busan actually just looking baffled right now as to what to do. And Guido takes advantage of it and gets rid of Hureg.
See if Hureg switches. It's very difficult to approach this choke point against a Junkrat like this. And Lunatic-Hai is positioned perfectly so that the Widowmaker can't threaten anybody. And they can't just dive in like GC Busan did on attack because the Junkrat is there. And they're positioned to collapse on dive. They positioned forward on the gate, whereas GC Busan positioned to the side, so lost control of the point. So
now we've got a man advantage available here for GC Busan. This could be the opening that they're looking for. It's Gesture gets rid of Eska on the side. No DPS is still going to be a bit of a run back here for Guido as they start to tick up point A.
And as stressful as this is for Lunatic-Hai, they should feel happy that they were able to eliminate a lot of the time bank that they simply had, that GC Busan will now not have to be able to try to get captured. So even though it's sad and they might end up losing here.
Wow, Hureg really looking good on this Widowmaker, but it was Lunatic-Hai just streaming through to try and delay as best they can.
So look at that. As you say, 96.5%, it's almost to the 3rd tick. Profit's going to try to back cap a little bit. I don't think that is going to work. But yeah, they should feel happy. Lunatic-Hai should. They have a worse time bank. GC Busan has a worse time bank than they did.
Oh, Prophet picks up Eska on his way through. Didn't even see him on the screen there, but it's going to be successful as Gesture now jumping in with the Primal Rage. They're trying to tick this one up. Not able to get the first one just yet, but this is so aggressive from GC Busan. They're looking for this snowball cap, much like we saw on Volskaya from this team. As Hagupyeon able to grab a double out of nowhere on the Battle Zenyatta. Now Riptide coming through from Eska, but he's not going to be able to find it. It's going to get removed, and now Close is able to pick up extra kills off on the side.
This could be the end of
This is
Lunatic-Hai.
massive. Yeah, we are looking for that second tick. It's starting to go up. Everyone's on the point for GC Busan, and they're poised for another 3-0. The 6-0 against Lunatic-Hai. Not over just yet, but man, they're just streaming through to try and delay.
Hureg
just getting one after the other. And now the Mei coming in from Toby, trying to do what he can to keep himself alive, but it's not going to be enough.
Jaehong's down. They're just trying to buy time here, but it's trickles coming in one by one. Lunatic-Hai had such a great run in seasons 2 and 3, but it looks like their run may end here in season 4. That's
They're just not lasting, and that is it. The 3-0 once again for GC Busan, and they will be heading to the playoffs. 2 Royal Roaders now there as they join the NC Foxes. What a massive upset once again. I know it feels silly. Last time these two teams matched, it was a 3-0 for GC Busan, and we should have thought that it could happen again, but I don't think anyone did.
Eska subbing in, you know, they lost in the same way. It was Eska subbing in last time for Taejun, of course, not for Who Are You, but it was an underperforming Lunatic-Hai tonight. And I feel like on the backs of Woohyal, Hagupyeon, and of course Hureg, those are the 3 players, the star players tonight. Hureg's clutch defense there on the high ground with the soldier, the accuracy we saw out of Hagupyeon on his left clicks, his understanding of when to use Transcends, which shut down Who Are You's Dragon Blades for 2 whole maps. And people will probably ask the question now, is Lunatic-Hai's reign over? And I think the answer is we don't know yet, but for Apex it certainly is. Might want to call this team, what's left of it, of course, the Soul team now, as they are no longer going to be in this tournament, and this 6-man roster will never play together again with this banner, with this team name. They were the most popular team in Apex. They made 3. They went for 3 seasons in a row, playoffs every time, season 2 and season 3 champions. And they lost to this team who now 6-0'd them, defeated Lunatic-Hai twice on their run. I think people need to start getting a little bit more hype about GC Busan.
Yeah, GC Busan certainly flying high, much like the sponsorship available to them, and you can see they are ecstatic. Lunatic-Hai, still some smiles there, some respect, of course, for GC Busan. And kicking out the champions of back-to-back seasons, Wolf, must feel incredible for GC Busan, looking to Royal Road their way through. Kongdu Panthera, certainly a difficult opposition. Runaway as well, who were able to get that 3-2 win over GC Busan. And a lot of challenging opponents waiting for them in the playoffs. However, this is a team that looks like they can adapt. They look like they know how to play exactly correct, especially in this meta. We are going to be most likely switching patches moving into the playoffs though, so whether or not they are going to have the same level of adaptability as we move over to some crazy new Mercies and some rockets coming out of some Divas and things like that.
It remains to be seen, you know. It's a weird feeling that we're going to cast the rest of this season without Lunatic-Hai, without that potential Lunatic-Hai finals. First time in a long while, we watched this team pack up their gear and go home, knowing this is going to be the last time they play this season, and for many of these players, it will be the last time they play in Apex ever, as they're, of course, the sole team for Overwatch League. Majority of the players on this roster are headed there. Here's today's play of the game. Hureg on the high ground. This was the play of the game. Saved them the point. Look at how close it was. 96.5, and he shuts them down on the high ground here, coming from behind.
Yeah, immediately. Just
perfect play.
Yeah, all too easy.
Hureg's my MVP tonight.
Yeah, I think an honorable mention needs to go over to Woohyal as well. That guy played fantastically in clutch moments as well. You have to remember back to Eichenwald, he was the reason why they were able to get that completion.
And of course,
at all.
Yeah, and of course, you know, the plays we saw from Hagupyeon on control, on Eichenwald as well, to shut down the Dragon Blades.
Yep.
This team is fantastic, and because they're so new, I feel like they don't get the hype that they deserve. And as sad as it is to send off Lunatic-Hai, this team may very well go to the finals. They may well get their Royal Road title. It's been a long time since we've seen Lunatic-Hai this dominated, and
Yeah,
I don't think, as you said, no one could have really predicted this. Despite the 3-0, it was with a different roster. Today they brought their A game, they brought the elites, they brought the Lunch Boy duo, and it wasn't enough.
And GC Busan proving themselves as massive contenders. I mean, when was the last time we were talking about Royal Roaders in other seasons? Was it Meta Athena, you know, all the way back in the day? Not entirely sure, but we are going to be talking to Hureg himself as we head to the interview.
Hey guys, it's your translator Andy, and we are sitting down with the MVP for the interview. So GC Busan now proceeds to the semifinals. Hello? Finally, GC Busan going to semifinals. How do you feel right now? We were really nervous. So we're gonna go eat something afterwards, and we're gonna be celebrating. Yeah, we are still flabbergasted. In the start of the season, did you expect to come this far? Our first initial objective was to go to the round of 8. Congratulations. So you beat the defending champions Lunatic-Hai twice in a row. What was the secret to it? Maybe just practicing a lot, I'd say. Okay, you're going against Guido and Huayu's combination. How do you deal with them? We just played as we did, and then we felt like we improved a lot during the practices. And the victory just came after the practice. In the second set, you guys were defending. You actually beat Profin in the 1v1. Can you describe the situation? I helped, but they lost. So, well, we just lost. I didn't feel like it was a sign of danger. Like, anyway, we look at it, like GC Busan doesn't seem to have any weaknesses. From now on, do you guys have any aspects you guys have to get better at? But especially like, we don't think there is anything we need to really improve that much on.
저랑 같이 관리해야 돼요.
아, 그래요? 네. 알겠습니다. 예, 감사합니다. 그리고
Okay.
이제 4강에서 A조 1위인 이제 콩두 팀이랑 붙게 C9 콩두랑 붙게 됐어요.
You will be playing against C9 Kongdu in the semifinals. How do you feel?
산 넘어 산인데.
It feels like we're just getting more formidable opponents every time.
그렇게만 하면 루나틱처럼 이렇게. 네, 감사합니다. 그럼 이제 마지막으로 4강까지 함께 달려온 팀원들.
And last of all, do you have a word to say to your teammates?
솔직히 제가 전 경기보다 이번에 포텐 터져가지고 그런가.
Honestly, even
관리 잘하고 연습
like more than the game before, we are like better than ever. I feel like we can do better next time as well.
기원하도록 하겠습니다. 네, 이번 시즌 돌풍의 핵이 된 GC 부산 팀입니다. 에이펙스
GC Busan
오늘의 승리
performing extraordinarily in the season. And that's the end of the interview. We'll throw it back to the casters.
Thank you very much, Andy. And it's going to be only 3 days' time, and GC Busan are going to be back again to take on Cloud9 Kongdu as well. So the 3-0, I know, gobsmacked is everyone. I mean, Lunatic-Hai, you can never count them out. It gets to this moment where they're against the wall, and normally that's when the reverse sweep comes out, but just didn't happen on Hanamura this time.
I know a lot of people were watching that Hanamura game thinking, well, this is how they come back, right? They can't lose. This can't be reality that Lunatic-Hai drops out.
Yeah.
In second group stage, in the round of 8, they didn't even make semis. It just feels like such an impossibility. It's such an unlikely scenario that it's almost difficult to believe or accept, but Lunatic-Hai is done. Seoul roster is already announced that we're playing in Overwatch League, so whatever happens to Lunatic-Hai in the future, what members they use, they have a second squad, we don't know. The future is unclear, but for these members that have been announced for Overwatch League, very likely be their last time playing in Apex. So have to wish them a happy goodbye here, as they were one of the most popular teams in Overwatch history. Maybe there may never be a team that is as popular as Lunatic-Hai in Korea again. It may never happen. Another team may never be as popular as Lunatic-Hai is.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know, man. Feeling a little bit at a loss for words. I arrived here in Korea at the end of Season 2. I saw the Lunatic-Hai victory. Clutch moments abound in that particular series against Runaway, and then once again in that massive 7-game series against Kongdu Panthera for Season 3, that it was always Lunatic-Hai that were able to find it. Just doesn't happen this time around. But this is going to be our next matchup. We're moving to best of 7s as well, guys. So on Tuesday, GC Busan going to be taking on Cloud9 Kongdu.
That is going to be a fantastic match. I mean,
this is where GC Busan fully get tested, right?
If GC Busan is able to beat not only Lunatic-Hai, defending champions twice, but also the finalists that went to Game 7 who were almost the champions, their run to the finals is incredible. They defeated all the favorites, basically, of the tournament on their way there.
Yeah.
They defeated Luxury Watch Red. I mean, this team has come from nothing, and to go this far, I mean, no one could have predicted that this team would potentially make finals. Will they defeat Cloud9 Kongdu? We don't know yet, but that's what we're going to find out on Tuesday. Such an exciting match.
Yeah, we have to remember that Cloud9 Kongdu is still with the same incredible roster, and as far as where their power is put, I mean, you can't look past Rascal and Birdring as being an incredible backline as far as that damage is concerned. So it's not going to be the same clash as it was for GC Busan against Lunatic-Hai because of where this team is weighted. And I'm just excited to see whether they are going to have the chops to be able to stand up to, you know, Prophet versus Birdring, for example, is a matchup that I think everyone's really excited to see because he needs to get tested against, you know, some of the best in the world. We saw Guido coming out ahead against Prophet at the same time, but he was still able to get in there, and most of his pulse bombs were fantastic.
Yeah,
the timings here for this guy were brilliant.
Lunatic-Hai's strength has always been their supports, right? Cloud9 Kongdu, formerly known as Panthera, the strength was always in the DPS duo. That was the matchup we saw in the grand finals, going back into that season 3 finals where we went to Game 7, we went to tiebreakers on Assault. It was as close of a series you could have had. If one thing went a little bit more wrong for Lunatic-Hai, we'd be writing a different history, right? It was so close. But yeah, they have to prove themselves against a more elite class of DPS here in this next matchup. And it's kind of cool, too, that not only are they both finalists, of course, of Apex Season 3, and they beat defending champions twice, now they're going to face off the finalist in Cloud9 Kongdu, but they're on their way running through trying to defeat 2 Overwatch League teams as well that are already confirmed. So that is a very cool storyline for this team that, you know, is just GC Busan, sponsored, of course, by airlines. And, I mean,
this is the dream run,
yeah,
right?
I mean, this is like the kids, like, got their mouse equipment and stuff together, and they were like, let's make our run at Apex, but, like, the dream might come true.
Yeah. Oh, man. I'm excited to see whether they are going to be able to make it work. And I love the fact that we have mirrored semifinals as well, because you've got NC Foxes doing that Royal Road themselves and up against an Apex finalist in Runaway. I mean, Season 2, of course, different to Season 3, and they didn't necessarily look as good in the 3rd season, but this time around, it's a reinvigorated Runaway, and it's a very similar storyline. So if we can see both Royal Roaders making it through to see who's going to be able to actually clinch that full road through would be extraordinarily exciting. But even if it is the runners-up from both Season 2 and Season 3, I'd be hyped to see that one as well. So either way, we're going to have an incredible final here for Season 4.
Top 4 is just stacked, and
it's stacked, but in the weirdest way, right? It's like it's stacked for narrative as far as like instead of being necessarily stacked for talent. Because if it was stacked for talent, you'd expect Lunatic-Hai to be up there, you know. So this time around, it's all about these storylines. It's all about these up-and-coming teams finding their way out of Challenger and getting themselves right to the very top of Apex Season 4.
Yeah, I mean, this is what competition is all about. Lunatic-Hai, you would have imagined to be in the top 4. Name value and reputation is not what matters, though. What matters is what you do on the day. That's why this is a tournament. That's why, you know, thousands of people watch this, because it's so interesting. It's so exciting. Apex is amazing, Alice.
Yeah. And it's only going to get better as we move to the best of 7s on Tuesday. But guys, that's going to be it from us. Good night and see you on Tuesday.